Hey there, fellow monument builders. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, DURIN'S folk. Episode 7, Rallying for the Flame of Dashun. Right at the start of the stream, one of the goals I have is to have 2 great monuments and also visit the trading camp. The trading camp, if I actually took a minute to read the text, it's actually just down the hallway. Through a door. So I'll go there in just a moment. But with that said, what monument should we build next? So here are the 3 choices, and that's not where they should be. Pull them down. There we go. All right. And I'll read the descriptions in game. So we've got the Flame of Dashun, the Metal Spire of Dashun, or Pride, houses an eternal vertical flame that burns without fuel or tending. We've got the Pillar of Unak Anin, a towering cylinder carved with the likeness of Unak Anin, the 7 fathers of the Dwarven clans, modeled after a long, ruined Second Age monument in Dwarf. Completing this sends word that the company is here to stay. Or the Archive of Umrad Ukfur, the hollow pillar containing the Umrad Ukfur scrolls and books of forgotten lore. So have you choose between those 3? And while you vote on those 3, I'm going to go make contact with the traders, and then I am going to change some of the professions of the dwarves in my community. And I'll talk about why and how to manage them, and also some of the shortcomings I've found since starting to play the game. So, the doors of Durin, it was just up the hallway. It's just the doors that we passed through right at the start of the game that I needed to open up. This is where the trade camps are. So the TLDR of the trade camps, your artisans, blacksmiths, metalworkers, etc. will produce goods that the trade camp will buy for reputation, and then you exchange that reputation
Doors of Durin.
For materials that you need to build
I've
your
never seen runes with such
delving.
shadow. No wonder we couldn't get it open from the other side.
All right, doors open. And here we are, just outside. It's called Holland. He's Stone Warden. Ah, I told you I would build a trading camp here. What do you think? Supplies, tents, traders, what more could you want? Unless these dwarves. Where are the elves, hobbits, men? Oh, we don't need their kind at our walls. That is the King of the Mountains decreed. He thought it'd be best to restrict trade and use dwarves as a go-between, for now. Traders bring goods to the West Gate. You fulfill their orders and gain respect. That allows for bartering. Fulfill an order. You establish your reputation. When a trader has something you need, you find that reputation is a kind of currency. So I fulfill their orders and then I go what I need. All right. So we visited the trading camp, and I'll just show you an example. So this is the Blue Mountain Trader. And they want steel arrowheads made by blacksmith. They want decorative ironwork made by blacksmith, and red barrel, which is mined. And then they're offering
What are you looking for,
blueprints, resources, food items that I've never seen before, like salt-cured fish or shells. And then coastal marble is a monument building material. And then if you trade, at the top of the right of the screen, you can see your reputation with the traders. So, you know, you have your rep numbers there. And then all the other traders are very much the same. And they come and go at different frequencies. So, like, they're not here necessarily to stay. They'll depart and then come back. So if you take a look here for 4 more days. On top of that, they only want to buy a certain amount of stuff. So, for instance, horse ironwork, he only wants to buy 3 of for 25 rep apiece. Or gold, or jade. And is offering these materials. So that's more or less the way the trade works. And it is required, of course, to do any monument building. All right, looks like the Flames of Dashun is what we are going to start. All right, some of the other things I wanted to do is change the professions around. So, we don't really need a mason, I think. A mason is someone that like repairs walls, and honestly, they've just kind of gotten stuck. They haven't been really moving around much at all. So I'm going to change around what my people do. And what I want to do is I want to employ more Skriel salvagers. Salvager Skriels will farm. They'll collect farming and replant seeds, and that's going to be a lot more useful to me, I think. So, let's take your hammer away and give you a Salvager Skriel. I also stole his booze, so I'm going to drink his booze. I'm going to do the same to the guard. The guard that I have, I'm going to make a Skrieler as well, because I kill more effectively than really any of the other dwarves, so I don't really need guards.
Toddlers bathed in slurry, younglings speaking troll. Alpha let the babies cut their teeth on gems and coal. Narzun, Bunud, a blunder and a fumble. Narzun, Bunud, got gravel in his brain. His skull is full of pebbles and rocks and bricks and grass and grain. Narzun, Bunud, you rubble-headed fool.
Alright, there's our little drinking song. Did they get better with practice? No, they just use the equipment that you give them. It's not about practice. The other thing is I'm going to make stuffed mushrooms as a default meal instead of what I was making previously, because grab apples grow really slow. Stuffed mushrooms have cranberries, sunions, and mushrooms. And mushrooms grow very fast, sunions and cranberries grow fast. And I think that's probably going to be a better use of my materials. Alright, another thing I wanted to do is to, and let me update the priority, prep for the flame monument, is I want a box of delver tools. Delve tools being like items useful for our delvers. So I'll put like a hammer in there, and I can start putting other things in there. Alright, so let's go to our guard. I'm going to take... Actually, I'm going to take everything from him. Give him the Skriel as well. And then put his gear away. Done. Alright, given that I've chosen new recipes to make, I ought to start growing specifically those recipes. And then my, my Skrielers will automatically replant those things. So I'm already growing cranberries, and what I want to do is I want to pull up some of those to start growing sunions as well, and then I want to also grow mushrooms. Taking a look at my soils, I have apparently no soil dressing, so I'm going to destroy one of these boxes and plop it over here so I can grow mushrooms, because mushrooms do not like direct sunlight, they like partial sunlight. So I'll put another farm box down there. Alright, let's grab mushrooms first and then sunions and plant them up. Alright, so we got mushrooms. And then what I'll probably end up doing is pulling everything that isn't cranberries, mushrooms, and sunions out of the pantry, because the cook won't need it. I'm only going to make those stuffed mushrooms. Every other recipe is going to get ignored. Cosmic Godders, thank you for the resub. And Omri too. Okay, so all of the other ingredients will get pulled. Done. So that's the cook's pantry. And the other food for now I'll just put in here, but we'll want a bigger box at some point. So we have Let me update the roster here. So Einar is currently working as a salvager. Let me see. Changing font size. So here is my current roster. I'll move it down a little bit. There we go. Sigbert is also a salvager. And I'm writing this all down so I can keep track of it. Hajuki is working as mining. Nali is currently working as building. And I'll be laying out where I want the flame monument in a second. Frankie is also building. Nithi is obviously cook. And then Alvi is also... Oh, no, I screwed one thing up. Mining. Yeah. There we go. So there is our current roster list. So we can keep track. Alright, the flame. I think what I want to do is I want to put my flame out this way. And maybe what I'll do is tear this building down. Meaning I'm going to be using gravity to do it, because this is where I want to put my flame. I want kind of like a hallway of monuments. I was thinking I would enjoy the aesthetic of a hallway of monuments. So that's what I'm going to aim to do. It's going to take a little bit more time to prep it, but I think that's fine. So after I get the monument, like, start down, then we can start working on the requirements in order to actually build the monument, the actual materials, which are, and I will warn you, a bit of a grind. Now, some of these shortcomings I found with this DLC, I find when you try to manage two delves separately, it's a bit annoying. And what I mean is, like, if I set up another delving that was specifically for mining, sometimes the miners will be mining, and then sometimes the miners won't do anything. They'll just, like, be broken or idle or whatever. With that said, there is new game mechanics to allow you to get, like, materials. So instead of me setting up other delves, and then managing it and being frustrated with the lack of management, what I'm going to do instead is just have one delve. This will be the only one. For better or for worse. Only because the mining camps that I have made on my own time in preparation for the stream, I ran into a lot of issues with them just not working. And even if they did work, the quantity of resources they were getting was maybe not worth the effort. That would be the other part of the equation. So it's worth noting, gravity does work. So if you knock down the supports, everything below it will come down falling. Oh, hi, goblin. We really probably should not have goblins, like, this close to our stuff. I think this is... no, that's a wall. I'll clear him in a minute. It's like the moment I furlough the guard, we have, like, goblins coming in. Because, of course. Also, some buildings, you can't, like, do damage to unless you're at the same, like, elevation level. So trying to hit, like, a ceiling above you often won't do any damage until you're at that elevation, or roughly at that elevation. Another thing I haven't done is actually made mithril weapons for myself. I intend to, don't worry. I'm not going to be using this tier 5 forever. I will move up. So the flame monument will go roughly around here. And it's going to take a while to construct it. And I want to try to construct it as quickly as possible, but, you know, it is a monument. It doesn't go fast. Come on, just collapse it already. There. Now you can start to see the gravity taking effect with the things that are no longer supported by supports crumbling down. I should probably be using the fiber ladders a little bit more too. They would help. I don't usually carry spider fibers on me, so I'm not used to like relying on spider fiber support. But given the given projects like this one, they make more sense. Yeah. I should check where the goblin was coming from, because as far as I know, everything should be walled up. I don't think they should be able to get in here, functionally speaking. Okay, so it's not being held up on this side anymore. What is it? It's connected to the back? It's being held up. Not being held up by my click platforms. Okay. I think we're pretty close to having this whole thing go kaboom. Here we are. Crunch. God, that's enjoyable. Alright, now we just have to clean up a little bit more of the foundations. And then we have a perfect place for our new monument. Oops, I worked all throughout the night. That's okay. That's what llama's bread is for. It's like methamphetamine trucker pills. Crunch. I feel like I should be able to remove that, but I can't. Seems a bit out of place, but whatever. We have this now nice platform for a monument. Almost. And that gives our two builders something to work on in a minute. There we go. And I am ready just before dawn, which is perfect. So you guys wanted the flame, and I will put the flame... I'm actually going to put the flame closer to the road, so we can kind of like stand here and like see all the monuments all lined up. Because I don't have a better idea for that. So, I need 2,000 stone for this. Got it. No problem. Alright, ate the llama's bread to revitalize. I am gonna do some of the cooking myself. Help out the cook. And then we're gonna farm some of the required materials. And it shouldn't take too long, because stone is a pretty easy one to just get a whole lot of. We can farm the hell out of stone.
His beard is long, his arms are strong, his voice is sure and stout. From mines he draws a stream of gold, from orcs he draws a shout. He sleeps as deep as ancient ore, his snores are mighty roars. Meet my best pal Durin, meet my best pal Durin, meet my best pal
I do enjoy a
Durin,
good
King
dwarf
of
song.
axes, King of dwarves.
No, better save my breath. Ha ha ha! Yes!
Alright, let's brew some evening ale. They're hungry, but don't worry, I am getting them fed. Okay, and we have plenty of beer left, that's good. The other thing you'll notice is the trader goods here can only be made by blacksmiths. So that would be, if we look at a roster, that would be someone like Frankie, who is a smith. So if we do want to make trade goods, I would need to change Frankie's job. But that's fine. I mean, that was, you know, that's part of the deal. All right, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and mine up this stone. I want to start the monument process, and it only requires stone, and stone's rather easy to get. So we need about 1,500 of it. Sounds like a lot, but again, you can farm hundreds of it at a time, so it shouldn't take very long. Like, one thing I could do is just platform. Oh, hello. Platform my way up here and just like mine downwards. And there's stone like everywhere in the West Halls and the Mines of Moria area, the starter areas. And you grab it pretty quickly because it's not it's a basic material, and we have like an artifact mining pick. So for reference, I've already gotten like 150 of it.
Should raise his sword at me, a terrible day.
Hey, you stopped my song. I was fine with you shooting arrows at me, but you're not allowed to stop the song. Seriously, get back here. It also looks like there's a lot of stone up this way too. I'm gonna try to avoid the coal because I don't need it right now. Actually, let's just grab it. I mean, with the DURIN'S axe, it won't take very long.
If an orc should raise his sword at me, a terrible day'd have he. If an orc should raise his sword at me, a terrible day'd have he. I'm a feisty fool with an empty fork, and if he would not flee, on a spike he'd sit by my fire pit, orc for dinner for me.
Ah, a song for a mining heart.
And nothing like singing about killing orcs while killing orcs. Unless that guy, I think that was a goblin though. Alright, we're almost a third of the way there. I've gotten about 500 so far. That's why, like, the number was big, but the material was common. I was not fretting about it. And it doesn't need to be, I don't need to like perfectly clear out the whole thing. Obviously I'm going for speed and efficiency, not thoroughness. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 and change so far. And the monument building, it's worth noting, is not like this. Like, this is not the typical gameplay loop for monument building. This is just your first, like, 2 monuments are going to be, like, you know, mined out like this. But the others, there are different ways to obtain the materials. Maybe not rock, granite, and adamant, but you often have enough rock, granite, and adamant to, like, build what you need to build anyway. As more of the game mechanics for DURIN'S Folk gets unlocked, it will make a lot more sense what the typical loop looks like. We're up to about 1,000. I think we're almost all the way there, because we had some rock back home, too. So it wasn't that I needed to get all 1,500. So let's go check how much more we need to acquire. I also might want to clean up the door here to be a little bit easier to use in the defense of our base. I'll consider that. There's a lot of little, like, quality of life things to do. Like, build a proper barracks. I've come to realize that, like, putting all the beds in one tight spot, I like better, because it's easier to manage. So we need about 700 more stone. Got it. Ooh, food. Don't mind if I do. Actually, come to think of it, I cooked that.
What news?
One of the other nice things that these salvage scrolls will do is they will, yeah, let's mine this too. Am I within? No, I'm not within the base yet. They will also grab things like, cloth and metal scraps and the like around the area as a renewable resource. So it's a good way to, like, keep your cloth income and hide income up, because there isn't like there isn't a role for, like, hunting, so you can't, you know, automatically gain cloth and hide from hiring a hunter. That'd be pretty cool though. I would like that. Alright, so as soon as we hit like 800 in our inventory, we'll know that we're just about ready to start that monument. And the actual monuments take a few days, in-game days, to build, like each phase. So that's why I wanted to eagerly and quickly ready that start of the monument. What's funny, chat, is in my test world, I built the same monument. You voted for the one I've already built. Actually, I built 4 of them, but I've built the flame one. I'll probably regret not getting the iron. But yeah, I've come to realize that the minor dwarves do not acquire resources efficiently, meaning that, like, they're not really worth their profession, in my opinion. In my test world, I had a separate delving that had So the way the vein miner works is an infinite amount of dwarves can work there. So you really can't have like a delving that has like 2 different types of veins. But essentially, you would want the vein mining to be close, physically close to the your delve. So you can't just like stick a vein mining marker out in the middle of nowhere. That won't really work because they have to commute. And then once you have the vein marker, there is no amount of dwarves that like max it out, which is in my opinion kind of unfortunate. Can I give them artifact pick? No, they can't use masterworks. So there's a lot of like, I'm not going to bother with the rest of that. There's a lot of like game mechanics that make vein mining relatively frustrating. Oh, oops. I deleted the wrong one, but it doesn't really matter. Which is why I like don't even bother having the my own dwarves be vein miners. It can, I think the biggest problem is, and this is a bug I ran into many times trying to set up vein miners, trying to like tinker with it and see if I could like get it working correctly or not, is essentially if you aren't at a delve, what happens there is somewhat simulated. And sometimes it will simulate that your miners are mining, and then sometimes it will just simulate that the miners, like, don't exist. So, maybe this will get patched, but a lot of the times that I had a mining delve, my mining delve would go multiple days of the miners, quote-unquote, mining, getting nothing. They acquired no resources at all. Now, there is one advantage to it being simulated. They also didn't eat, and didn't need to eat. So it like cut both ways, but it was frustrating enough that I was like, you know what? For the stream, I'm not even gonna bother with like a second delving for mining. Oh, here's one of my screelers. All right, we got all the rock we needed. Perfect. Let's get that monument started.
Your humble servant.
Stage 1 of the flame is started. Is there a distance to the delving to get it to stop simulating? Well, so here's the thing, is like, wherever your delve stone is, regardless of where it is, you're going to run into a situation where you're going to want resources that don't occur in your biome, right? How did I get an oaken shield? And what that means is like, where my delving is, there's going to be iron and coal, but there's not going to be silver, gold, star metal, mithril, etc., etc. So if you want to get that stuff, you would need to set up, you know, a delving for those specific resources and the miners that you assign there. So like in my test realm, I had like 4 or 5 miners in their own dedicated delving. They didn't do anything. They didn't really mine, not quick enough to make it worth it, in my opinion. So you are welcome to try your hand at running a delving like that. I'm just saying from my anecdotal experience, it was not worth it. And that's why I don't want to invest in it, because it's only going to be a frustrating game mechanic that yields us not very much. So that's why I'm just not setting up delvings, apart from the starter. All right. I'm going to craft some of my metal fragments into iron ore, because we have a lot of metal frags. And now that we have assigned the builders to the monument, we can check in on their ETA. 20 hours.
This area is starting to look...
Okay, question for you guys. If my polling software works. I know what the flame monument will require. on stage 2, but I don't necessarily want to start acquiring those resources because it's not like reasonable for a fresh person to know that. So I don't want to like use my advanced knowledge in that way, I guess. It does not look like my pulling software is going to work. So, question is, what to work on next? And maybe I'll use in-game Twitch polls or something. But the way I see it is, I can either fix up the delving. I can improve, like, the aesthetics around here. Or I can start resource farming for what will be required for the second delving. The second stage of the flame. Or I could resource farm for things I need. So I'm going to use Twitch polling for that. So priority. We could improve delving. Resource farm for Flame Monument 2. Or improve gear. So for improved gear, and I'll put 2 minutes on the poll, and again, it's a Twitch poll. For my own gear, I would want like mithril weapons. So we would farm a little bit of mithril, if you were wondering, and then bless my axe. I would want it like maybe a sword and an axe, or a mace and an axe. The axe to cut down trees, and then the sword or mace for regular fighting. We take a look at the delving chest. Oh, my screelers. I think I emptied that out recently. Hey, Trashy. Thank you for the resub. So the barracks that I want to put my dwarves in is just over here. And I am going to make it easier. And that's another thing that I've noticed, is the physical travel time between zones matters a lot for the dwarves. So try to make the pathfinding for your delve dwarves like as simple as possible, because they're not like awesome at pathfinding on their own. So what I'm doing now is I'm making it so that they can walk from where they sleep to the base without having to do a whole lot of like gymnastics and move up and down stairs, because that is a lot of lost productivity. And this is just something that wouldn't take me very long, but would be a effective use of my time. So it looks like you guys want me to improve my gear. Got it. This bed. I'm gonna move. Did I just see a dwarf glitch through the floor? I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that. Oh, these beds were unclaimed. Weird. Maybe I can lay these stairs out a little nicer.
Yum. That hit the spot.
Ever wonder what sunlight feels like?
Why is it complaining about that? Seems like a legit spot for the for it to be. And I'll pick up the scrapped stuff that I dropped in a minute. But I think this will speed up the productivity of my my company a fair bit. Just not having to do the massive stairs. Come on, you know what? Alright, I'm just gonna ignore that that is wrong. I'm not enough of a perfectionist to care. Because that will work. Alright, let's give it a little granite railing here. Give it, if we go to wood, a long banister. Yes, that's exactly where I'm going to place it. Thank you, game. Game is like, banister goes on stairs, right? Alright, it's good enough. So there we go. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to move the other 2 beds into the correct spot. The other beds... Oh, I guess I deleted the wall beneath. The other 2 beds are the ones... the builder beds that are, like, elsewhere. When knocking down the old walls, I think I probably knocked this one down, too. By accident. Alright. Now, when they want to go to sleep, they could just walk up these stairs and they're in their own barracks immediately. And just so that if I'm trying to remodel anything, I don't want to break these parts, I'll repair these parts. I know they're not fully repaired, but they're good enough. Alright, so once I move those other 2 beds, I will go grab mithril in order to make myself some mithril weapons. And the reason I'm putting all of the beds together is often you're, well, not often, but sometimes what ends up happening is, like, you'll be elsewhere for a long time and you'll come back to your delving, and all your dwarves are, like, missing. They just don't exist. You don't know where they are. And in cases like that, you're gonna want to, like, reassign them. And putting all the beds in one tight spot makes it a lot easier to reassign them.
What news?
So it's just a matter of convenience, in other words. Thank you for tuning in to Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, DURIN'S, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow dwarves.